Superpowers you wouldn't want to have. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Science for Real, the YouTube channel where all things bizarre, unbelievable, and sometimes downright absurd in science and the superhero world are dissected and turned into pure entertainment. In today's video, we'll dive into a topic that's sure to make you reconsider any dreams of becoming a superhero. 30 superpowers you absolutely wouldn't want to have. We've all fantasized at some point about becoming real-life heroes. Flying through the sky, controlling fire, or reading minds. But brace yourselves, because these 30 superpowers are definitely not what you've been dreaming about. We're going to explore some unique, yet painfully impractical abilities, from Bailey Hoskins' one-time self-detonation to Rainbow Girl's mood rainbow effect. If you think being a superhero is easy, let us show you that sometimes it's best to stay a regular human. 1. One-time explosion power. Bailey Hoskins. Bailey Hoskins is just an ordinary guy with an extraordinary dream of becoming a superhero. One day, he discovers he has the power to blow himself up. Yes, he can turn himself into a firework, but there's a catch. He can only perform once. Sounds epic, right? But think about it. Once Bailey detonates, he'll turn to dust and can't come back. So, he has to make the tough decision about when the right moment to sacrifice himself might be. No doubt, he spends a lot of time wondering, should I save this one-time explosion for an epic battle, or hold off and see how things go? 2. Fire manipulation without fire immunity. An unnamed mutant. In action movies, fire-wielding superheroes always look incredibly cool as they control flames. But imagine this. You can breathe fire like a mini dragon. But the problem is, you're not fireproof. Just one little mishap with the flames, and you could end up turning yourself into a smoldering mess. Every time this mutant uses their power, they have to immediately dive into the nearest pool, or, at the very least, find a fire hose, just to put out the burns on themselves. 3. Quasi-sonic scream. Black Bolt. Black Bolt doesn't just have a powerful scream. He has a scream that could wipe out an entire building. Because of this, he lives a life of silence, like a true monk of few words, since even a single sneeze could clear out everything around him. Black Bolt has had to master the art of a silent life. Even if he gets a toothache, he has to grit his teeth without making a sound. And if he catches a cold? Well, that's a nightmare for the entire city. 4. Hindsight power. A support mutant. Who would want a superpower that only lets you analyze battles after they're over? That's right, this mutant can only unleash his ultimate power when everything is already said and done, giving brilliant strategies for situations that have already happened. Nicknamed the expert of what could have been, this guy makes a useful buddy for reviewing past failures. 5. Uncontrollable spider virus. When people hear Spider-Man-like powers, they usually think of wall-crawling heroics. But in Manhattan, some unfortunate residents have caught a spider virus that, instead of turning them into Spider-Man, transforms them into bizarre spider creatures dangling from ceilings. Cleaning up Manhattan after the virus spread has turned into a nightmare. The infected people crawl everywhere, turning every nook and cranny into their own spider playground. 6. Reverse aging curse. Monster Girl. Monster Girl has the ability to transform into a gigantic, powerful beast. But the price she pays is that each transformation makes her younger. If she keeps changing, she might revert to a newborn by the end of the week. Every battle forces her to decide if it's worth getting a little younger, because if she's not careful, she'll soon be a super strong baby that nobody wants to babysit. 7. Detachable limbs. Arm fall-off boy. Arm fall-off boy has a unique power. He can remove his limbs and use them as weapons. Every time he pops off an arm, he has to run and fetch it afterward, sometimes even telling his opponent, hold on. Don't hit me yet, I need to reattach my arm. And if a villain happens to grab one of his detached parts, he has to scramble to put himself back together, all while being chased. 8. Sticky tar secretion. Tar Baby. Tar Baby secretes a sticky tar-like substance from his pores. Instead of being a stretchy, flexible hero, he's more like a mobile glue trap. Every time he touches someone, they end up stuck to him like a fly in a spider's web. This also means he can't sit on a chair without getting stuck or shake someone's hand without dragging them along when he walks away. 9. Immune to disease but contagious. A mutant with supernatural immunity to all diseases. Sounds fantastic, right? But wait, there's a tiny downside. He can unknowingly spread diseases to others. So, every time he coughs or sneezes, he has to avoid everyone around him like a walking biohazard. 10. Acid vomit. Axel has the power to vomit acid. Sounds intense, but in reality, every time he feels queasy, it turns into a full-blown chemical disaster. Just imagine you're on a romantic date, and suddenly he vomits acid. The person across from him would likely bolt without a backward glance. Any party Axel attends becomes a game of dodge the acid. 11. Turn to stone but immobile. Stoneboy is a defense expert, up until he transforms into stone and can't move. While his friends are in the heat of battle, Stoneboy stands there motionless, like a statue, with a blank expression, just waiting for the enemy to come up and punch him in the face. Stoneboy is essentially a breathing statue, willing to sacrifice himself by staying completely still. 12. Transparent wax body. Blob Herman looks like a horror movie art installation, with a body made of transparent wax through which you can see all his internal organs. Imagine him walking into a room, causing everyone to scream and flee, thinking they've seen a ghost. And if Blob Herman catches a cold, you'd see all his organs shivering beneath his waxy skin. A truly haunting work of art. 13. Uncontrollable body combustion. A mutant. This mutant has the ability to ignite flames on his chest and face, but he can't turn the fire off. This makes it impossible for him to do anything ordinary, like eating or sleeping. Every conversation with him begins with, "Hold on a second. I don't want to accidentally set the room on fire." 14. Animal-like appearance. A mutant. This mutant has the appearance of a wild animal, and he lives like one too, constantly facing stigma and being shunned by society. Every time he appears, animal rescue teams are alerted to capture the wild creature, forcing him to hide in forests or the lobbies of various parks. 15. Ice cream production. Soft Serve can produce ice cream from her body, but not many people actually want to try it. This makes her the highlight of every kid's birthday party, at least until the parents start wondering if this ice cream is truly all natural. 16. Instantly forgotten. Forget-me-not. Forget-me-not has a truly unique ability. He's immediately forgotten by anyone he meets. At first, this might not seem like a big deal, but in reality, every time he meets someone, they forget him the moment they turn away. His life becomes a series of endless introductions. "Hi, I'm Forget-me-not," over and over again. And don't expect anyone to remember his birthday. Forget-me-not is definitely the guy who has to throw his own party every year. 17. Life-absorbing touch. Rogue has an incredible yet troublesome power. She can absorb the powers and memories of others through touch. Imagine being on a date and accidentally wiping your date's memory, causing them to faint instantly. Every attempt at building a close friendship fails miserably. Rogue constantly wears gloves and keeps her distance from people, never able to experience a true, heartfelt hug. 18. Uncontrolled Hulk transformation. Bruce Banner, or more accurately, the Hulk, is the epitome of no self-control. Every time he gets angry, Banner transforms into a moving disaster zone known as the Hulk, destroying everything within reach. After each transformation, he wakes up in the middle of a wreckage, left to pick up the pieces of what he unintentionally smashed. Hulk isn't just strength incarnate. He's also a burden to anything, or anyone, nearby. 19. Rainbow mood powers. Rainbow Girl can emit rainbows from her body every time her emotions change. When she's happy, everyone around her sees a dazzling rainbow display. But when she's upset, those rainbows turn dark, making the room feel like it's covered by a gloomy rain cloud. Everyone around her just hopes she keeps her emotions steady so they don't have to endure sudden changes in internal weather. 20. Radioactive skeleton form. Blight. Blight is an unlucky superhero. After a radioactive accident, he became a glowing skeleton, like a mobile ghost. Sometimes, he appears with an eerie glow, making people mistake him for a spirit from the past. Blight faces loneliness as no one dares to come near him, and even if they did, they'd have no idea how to greet a walking skeleton. 21. Eyes on fingers. 10-eyed man. 10-eyed man has eyes on all 10 of his fingers. Whenever he needs to look around, he has to move his fingers to see. Imagine him needing to wear tiny glasses on each finger to protect his eyes from dust and strong light. Even simple tasks like shaking hands or holding a cup become a challenge. If he's not careful, 10-eyed man might end up poking himself in the eye every time he touches something. 22. Dependent on cold suit. Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is the perfect example of fashion over comfort. He constantly has to wear a freezing cold suit because, at normal temperatures, he would melt like ice cream in the summer. People tend to avoid getting too close to him because even a light touch feels like reaching into a freezer. He's undoubtedly the only person who's thrilled about winter all year round. 23. Always wins. With conditions, an unnamed mutant. This mutant has the ability to always win, but only under specific conditions like, there must be a full moon on a Tuesday night, or, there have to be 4 kinds of vegetables on the table. Before every battle, he has to pause, to check the calendar and his grocery list to see if all the conditions are met. This power is practically useless in real life, and every time he loses, he complains, if today were Tuesday, I'd have won. 24. Daredevil and sensory overload. Daredevil has extraordinarily sensitive senses. So much so that he can hear a mosquito's wings flapping from 2 miles away. This makes his life a series of painful and uncomfortable experiences. Just one noisy party is enough to make him leave immediately, clutching his ears and gritting his teeth. In reality, this power is more of a burden, as every time he steps outside, Daredevil has to bring along extra-large earplugs and sunglasses. 25. Friendly fire. Accidentally hurts allies. Friendly fire is a hero, but mostly one who, accidentally, attacks his teammates. Every time he heads into battle, his friends try to stay as far away from him as possible, knowing that one uncontrolled shot from friendly fire could hit all of them instead. If there were an award for the hero who injures their own team the most, friendly fire would win hands down. 26. Hulk's rage. Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner is just an ordinary guy, until his anger erupts into the Hulk. Every time he transforms, Hulk not only destroys the environment around him but also ends up shredding all his clothes. After each rage-filled episode, Banner has to buy new clothes and clean up the chaos he created. If you think you have anger issues, imagine that every time you get mad, you wreck an entire room. That's Banner's life in a nutshell. 27. Unstable rainbow powers. Rainbow Girl. Rainbow Girl is a walking rainbow light show. Every time her mood changes, she lights up in a different color. When she's happy, she glows like a multicolored lamp. But when she's upset, her colors shift to gloomy shades of gray, making everyone around her feel just as uncomfortable. People around her can only hope she keeps her emotions steady so they don't get rainbowed by surprise. 28. Symbiote host. Controlled by parasite. This host isn't just controlled by a parasite. The symbiote can take over his entire body, including his actions and speech. Every time his friends try to talk to him, they're faced with the fact that he might suddenly change his voice or act in a way that's completely unlike himself. This power turns him into a joke when the symbiote decides to improvise in front of everyone, leaving his friends frequently confused. 29. Stimulant-dependent strength. Ultimate Colossus. Ultimate Colossus has incredible strength, but the catch is that he can only unleash his full power when he uses a special stimulant. This makes him reliant on an expensive and unhealthy, artificial energy boost. Every time he wants to join a battle, he has to ask if there's enough power juice on hand, which has earned him the nickname Gym Hero among his friends. 30. Fragmented personality powers. Crazy Jane. Crazy Jane has multiple personalities, each with its own unique superpower. The challenge is that every time she wants to use a specific power, she has to switch to the corresponding personality. This makes her a walking committee, constantly debating with herself over which personality should take charge. Every time she switches, her friends are surprised to see a completely different person enter the room. And that wraps up our journey through some of the strangest superpowers you'd never want to have. From self-destructive abilities to powers that are just plain inconvenient, these have shown us a very different side of the superhero world. A side that isn't glamorous at all. So, if you're still interested in becoming a superhero, think carefully, because not every superpower brings the amazing advantages we imagine. Sometimes, living a plain but peaceful life as a regular person is actually the best thing to appreciate. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos on Science for Real. We'll be back with more weird, fun, and occasionally, out there, discoveries from the worlds of science and technology. For now, try imagining you had one of these powers and share your thoughts in the comments. We can't wait to hear your creative ideas. See you in the next one.